Is France truly the most sinful country on earth in 2025? Or is that just a myth we love to believe? When you think of France, especially Paris, what comes to mind? For many, it's a city draped in mystery and allure, a place where the rules seem a little looser and life is lived with a certain daring freedom. The very mention of France conjures images of smoky Parisian cafes, where secrets are exchanged over tiny cups of espresso and the air is thick with possibility. It's a world where the night stretches on and every corner seems to hold a story. The French are often labeled as lazy, rude and indulgent, stereotypes that have persisted for decades. But are these labels fair, or are they just convenient cliches that mask a deeper truth? But is any of it true? Or are we simply misunderstanding a culture that values different things than our own? Maybe, instead of being a nation of excess, France is a country that has mastered the art of pleasure, finding joy in the everyday and celebrating the small moments that make life beautiful. France has long been seen as a place of romance, art and revolution. Its streets have inspired poets, painters and dreamers for centuries. Here, passion isn't a sin, it's a way of life. Statistics might tell one story about France, but the real truth is found in its bustling streets and lively markets, where people greet each other with a smile and take time to savor every moment. The so-called sins here are really about savoring life, like lingering over a 2-hour lunch or biting into a perfect buttery croissant fresh from the oven. In France, indulgence is not about excess, but about appreciation. To the French, these rituals, sharing meals, enjoying good company and taking time to connect, are not vices, but the very pillars of a life well lived. They believe that happiness is found in the details. Our journey today isn't about passing judgment or confirming old stereotypes. It's about understanding what makes French culture so unique and why it's often misunderstood by outsiders. By the end of this exploration, you might discover that what looks like sin from afar is actually a kind of grace, a celebration of life's pleasures, big and small, and a reminder to slow down and enjoy the ride. So grab a coffee, or better yet, pour yourself a glass of wine. Settle in, and let's explore the real France together, beyond the myths, beyond the labels, and into the heart of what makes this country so captivating. Let's begin with gluttony, a word that often conjures images of excess and indulgence. But in France, this concept takes on a different, more nuanced meaning. The French call it la gastronomie, a celebration of food that is as much about artistry and tradition as it is about taste. In France, food is not just sustenance. It is a central, non-negotiable part of daily life, woven into the very fabric of culture and community. A trip to a local market is more than a chore. It's a pilgrimage for flavor, a ritual that connects people to the land, the seasons, and each other. This devotion to food extends far beyond the glitz of Michelin-starred restaurants. It thrives in humble bistros, bustling cafes, and family kitchens where recipes are passed down through generations. The so-called French paradox, high in rich cheeses, butter and wine, yet low in heart disease, may be explained by their mindful approach to eating. Meals are enjoyed slowly, with intention and gratitude. Lunch is not a quick pit stop or an obstacle to productivity. In France, it is an event, a cherished pause in the day to savor each bite, to truly taste and appreciate what's on the plate. Meals are shared with others, turning eating into a communal act that strengthens bonds and creates memories. So, is this gluttony, or is it a profound respect for food, for tradition, and for the connections that form around the table? In France, eating is a celebration of life itself, expressed through food, laughter, and togetherness. Every meal is an opportunity to honor the senses and the moment. The best things in life, good bread, fine wine, heartfelt conversation, are meant to be savored, not rushed. Time slows down at the table, allowing pleasure to unfold. This isn't about overconsumption or mindless eating. It's about a deep appreciation for quality, for freshness, and for the stories behind every ingredient. It's a reminder that pleasure, especially the pleasure of eating well, is not a luxury, but a fundamental human right, a source of joy and connection. So, Is it a sin to indulge in such pleasure, or is it simply living well, embracing the fullness of life, one delicious bite at a time? Now let's talk about the French sin of drinking before dinner, the apéro. Around 6 or 7 p.m., life in France pauses for this ritual. The drink is secondary, the true purpose is connection. It's a moment to decompress and engage in conversation. This isn't about getting drunk, it's about being present. The apéro is a cultural buffer zone, protecting personal time. It's a rebellion against endless productivity. In a world that accelerates, the apéro is self-care. Is it a sin to dedicate time to pleasure and conversation? It teaches us that life happens in the moments between events. They are where life truly happens. The French have a love-hate relationship with rules and bureaucracy. The system is rigid, complex, and slow. Yet the French excel at finding workarounds, système D. They navigate the gap between ideal and reality with ingenuity. Outsmarting the system is a source of pride. This isn't about anarchy, it's about pragmatism. If a rule is unjust, why follow it blindly? It reveals a fierce independence and skepticism of authority. It's a sin born from a belief in common sense over protocol. This cultural trait can be infuriating but also admirable. It's a refusal to suffer fools gladly. The French sin of rudeness is a misunderstanding of their directness. For the French, debate is a sport, not a conflict. Disagreement is a sign of respect, not disrespect. A lively discussion is a staple of French social life. To outsiders, it might look like an argument, but it's not. The debate is the point, not winning it. The French value honesty over superficial pleasantries. A fake compliment is more insulting than sincere criticism. Is it a sin to speak your mind? Perhaps. But it creates an environment of clarity and respect. This directness fosters intimacy built on mutual respect. It's a sin that champions authenticity above all else. In a hyper-productive world, idleness is often seen as a sin. The French, however, embrace the joy of doing nothing. It's a conscious choice to step off the hamster wheel. It's the act of sitting at a cafe, just being present. This ability to be still is a cultural skill. Rest is not just for recovery, it's essential for creativity. The French approach to vacation is about true disconnection. Is it a sin to embrace idleness? In a society that glorifies the grind, it feels rebellious. But this sin holds wisdom, teaching us our value isn't in output. It reminds us of the beauty in quiet moments. It's an invitation to stop doing and start being. France is often defined by its protests. The French sin of contentiousness is legendary. Protest is a fundamental part of civic life. It's a primary tool of political expression. A protest is democracy in action, a right fiercely protected. It can be frustrating, but there's often solidarity. The fight for rights is a collective struggle. Is this disruption a sin? It challenges social order, but it stems from a belief in social justice. It's the sin of refusing to be silent. The final sin is an unapologetic devotion to aesthetics. In France, beauty is a necessity, not a luxury. It's evident in architecture, fashion, and daily life. This isn't about extravagance, it's about pride in surroundings. It's a belief that beauty elevates the human spirit. This attention to detail can be misinterpreted as vanity, but it's about self-respect and intention. Is it a sin to care about aesthetics? Perhaps. But the French understand beauty's impact on well-being. This sin reminds us that beauty enriches our lives. It's the sin of loving beauty for its own sake. It's a powerful reminder of the importance of aesthetics. So, is France the most sinful country in 2025? It's a question that might make you smile or even raise an eyebrow, but let's look a little closer at what sin really means here. In the heart of Paris, where the city glows with possibility, the idea of sin takes on a different flavor, one that's less about guilt and more about embracing life's pleasures. If sin is living outside strict confines, then maybe it is. But maybe that's exactly what makes France so captivating. Here, the rules are often bent in favor of joy, connection, and authenticity. These so-called sins are actually the pillars of a culture that prioritizes the richness of the human experience. In France, indulgence isn't about excess. It's about appreciation, about savoring every moment and every bite. The French sin of gluttony is really a deep respect for food and the connections it creates. Meals are rituals, not rushed affairs, and every dish tells a story of tradition and love. The sin of drinking isn't about losing control. It's a ritual of social bonding, a way to celebrate friendship and mark the passage of time together. The sin of bending rules is less about rebellion and more about pragmatism and independence. It's a quiet assertion that life is too short to be lived by the book alone. The sin of rudeness. In France, it's often just authenticity, an honest expression of feeling, a refusal to hide behind false politeness. The sin of idleness is actually the wisdom of rest. The French understand that slowing down isn't laziness. It's essential for creativity, happiness, and health. The sin of protest is a passion for justice, a willingness to stand up for what matters, and a belief that every voice deserves to be heard. The sin of vanity is really a love for beauty, for art, for self-expression. It's about taking pride in how you present yourself to the world. These are not vices, they are values. They're the threads that weave together the French way of life, making it vibrant, resilient, and endlessly fascinating. France gives us permission to slow down, to savor life's small joys, and to find meaning in the everyday. It's a reminder that happiness isn't found in perfection, but in presence. It challenges our assumptions about what makes a good life, inviting us to question whether our own rules and routines truly serve us. I hope this journey has sparked your curiosity and maybe even inspired you to embrace a little more sin in your own life. French style, of course. So, what French sin would you like to commit? Let me know in the comments below, and let's celebrate the art of living together.